Okay.
The 2nd of April, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora and Ten Commandments.
Okay. So the truth is that uh, I did hear something about this, and I'll just start off with the following thing. Uh, Phil, what we're talking about is that there's three tens in world history, and it starts with Asara Mamaros, Nivra Olam, like it says in Pirkei Avos, with 10 statements Hashem created the world. And then after that, there were Eser Makos that Hashem punished the Mitzrayim for the enslavement and the persecution and the affliction that they caused to Klal Yisrael in Mitzrayim. And then there, after that, there is Aseres Adibros, as you say in English, the Ten Commandments. So that's Matan Torah. So the assumption is there is a connection between these 10. There's a connection between these 10. And I'll just tell you that the Sefer Pachad Yitzchak. I don't know if they have it translated into English. I don't think it is. But it's a sefer that was written by Rabbi Yitzchak Hutner, Rosh Hashiva of Sifte Yeshivas Rabbeinu Chaim Berlin in New York. A classic sefer in Hashkafa. You'll find it in every base medrash in the world, basically. So he says over there. He says like this. If you want to look it up, if you have an Otzar Chachma, or if you get a hold of the Sefer, it's in Sefer Pachad Yitzchak, which has many different volumes. It's the volume on Pesach, and over there, it's written down many of the drushes that he said used to speak on the Yomim Tovim for the Yontif, and this was Maimer Mem Zion, Maimer Mem Zion. So certainly there's a connection. Certainly there's a connection, and what is exact? What the first thing that he says is he makes a diuk. He says, listen, here you've got 10 Maimoros. They're called Maimoros from the word Amira. And then we've got Aseres Adibros. We've got Aseres Adibros from the word Dibor. Now we know that essentially, we think of these words as the same thing. One is Amira, one is Dibor. It's about talking, about it's speech. But he says that obviously in Lashon HaKodesh there's no really such a thing as a synonym. They have, each one has its own shade of meaning. And the meaning is very very essential to the why the Ten Commandments are called Dibros, and why the 10 statements that created the world are called Maimoros. And good so far.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I lost
you were there.
The last 5 seconds.
Oh, okay. Well, the only thing I said in the last 5 seconds is everybody there? Is everybody following what I said so far?
No, but he said there's a difference between Dibro Gemorot. There's a difference between the sayings and then the proclamations or whatever. Two
Right.
types of sayings.
Okay.
Amira and Dibra.
Right.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. So we know.
Do you say the Amirot? Do we say either of those at the end of Shachris in the morning?
Do we say either one of them at the end of Shachris in the morning?
Something
You mean like
you
do
have
we
the
say Aseret
Sefirot.
Maimoros at the
Yeah,
end of Shachris?
yeah.
Oh, I
You
mean,
know, there are things that sinners have some of these things. I don't know. You know.
right. They do. Um, right, right. I personally don't have a minute
I,
to say them afterwards.
okay, I'm
But
not going to. Whatever, it's fine. Good.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, um, yeah. So I think that this about the Asera Maimoros that's brought in Pirkei Avos that there were Asera Maimoros that created the world. Okay, so the next step is goes in steps. This mimer of Rav Hutner goes in steps. Each step progresses directly from the previous one, and at the end it's a beautiful binyan. It's a masterpiece. So so the next step is that he puts down that furthermore we know that there was 26 generations in the history of the world from the time of the Asera Maimaros until the time of Matan Torah. And this is reflected in the 26 Ki La'olam Chazdos that we say in Sefer Tehillim. If you'll ask, where is the Ki La'olam Chazdo? Um, I think this is part of the Psukkah de Zimra of Shabbos. The last one is Nosein Lechem L'chol Basar Ki La'olam Chazdoi. My wife probably knows which kapitel this is. Okay, but you could see it for yourselves. Uh, it's called the Kuf Lamed Ches, the 26 Kuf Lamed Ches, because Kuf Lamed Ches is a notricon for Kila Olam Chazdoi. Okay, so what's the whole idea of Kila Olam Chazdoi? 26. There was 26 generations that preceded Hashem's giving of the Torah. So what was those 26 generations all about? Those 26 generations were about the fact that, when people, they lived and they got up in the morning and they felt good. And then they had breakfast and then they did whatever they did. And then they had lunch, and they lived their life. They got all of the chesed and the rachamim that's given out to people that live in the world, and yet where was the observance of mitzvahs? Where was the idea of doing the Ratzon Hashem? Where was the whole idea of a creator? For the overwhelming majority of the world, there was no such a thing because this was all before Matan Torah. So these are 26 generations that are coming from the Asera Maimoros. And Rav Hutner says these generations were he calls them Chesed Vitur. Oh, here comes Meir. Here's Meir. Okay, now we have a Kohen. Now we could have Kriyas Torah. All right.
Good morning,
Good
everyone.
morning, Mayor.
I had computer. Good morning, Phil. I had computer problems. So I had to walk over to my daughter-in-law to help me out.
Wow.
But it looks like it's fixed because now I can sign on.
What, she fixed your computer?
Well, she had to call Bezek and some other phone company to.
Oh,
She didn't
okay.
actually fix it. She got them to get it to work again.
Okay. That's that's very good. Wow, very nice. Okay, Baruch Hashem. So we're glad to have you here with us. We're talking here now about the inyonim of Pesach,
Oh,
and we are it goes back to of course the inyonim of Pesach go back to Brias Olam, and they go back to the Asara Maimoros,
oh,
and then we proceed on to the Eser Makos, and then after that to the Aseres Dibros. This is really what Pesach is all about, of course. So so let's maybe it would be a good review for everybody so far. I'm sure for myself as well. So we say what's the connection between these three tens? We have three tens over here: 10 Maimoros, 10 Makos, 10 Dibros. 10 is a there's a connection over here. 10 is telling us that there's a correspondence between these three inyonim. And so what we said so far was that we're noticing that there's a difference in the nuance of the language of Asera Maimoros from the word from the language of Amira, and Aseres Adibros from the word Dibor. And we know generally that when we say Amira, we say Amira, even though both of them are Lashon of deep occasion, but they are one. Amira is soft, so to speak, and Dibor is kasher. When Hashem spoke to the women, actually, before Matan Torah, it says Amar lebeis Yaakov, v'daber b'nei Yisrael. Speak with a lashon racha to the base Yaakov. Base Yaakov is the nashim, and daber b'nei Yisrael, language of Dibor, a strong speech, a tough speech. That was given to Bnei Yisrael, to the men. So we see that there's a language of Amira, Sarah Maimoros, and Dibor of Aseres Adibros. And so we're explaining that in the first 26 generations of world history, from the time of Brias Olam until the time of Matan Torah, was 26 generations, which David HaMelech in in Tehillim, he's got 26 kila olam chazdois. The last one is no sein lechem l'chol basa kili olam chazdo. You remember it, of course, from the Shabbos Psukkah de Zimra davening. And the idea with this, says Rav Hutner, this is all from the Pachad Yitzchak, that those 26 generations, he categorized them as generations of chesed that was given out to them in a form of vitur. What's vitur? Vitur is you just give it. You just give it out. You just give in. There's no real connection between the giver and the taker, other than that the giver gives and the taker takes. Because this was the 26 generations of world before Matan Torah. So that was created, that world that Hashem made initially, it was created with Asara Maimaros. Maimer is the Lashon Raka, is the soft language. So there was 26 generations where people sort of got a free lunch. And even though they say in the college, in the economics course, they say there's no such thing as a free lunch, but Hashem made 26 generations of free lunch.
Mm.
That's what it was. What did they do to deserve anything? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. With the exception, of course, of singular tzaddikim in world history. There was always tzaddikim. There was always those that even before Avram Avinu, right? There even Adam Arishon was okay. He ate from the Eitz Hadas, but he was a chassid. The Chazal describe him as a chassid. Okay, right? And then, of course, we know there was Noach, but then, of course, yeah, I mean, they were extremely evil, and you'll ask on me. You'll say, "What do you mean? There was a mabul. That's not a free. That Hashem didn't give them a free lunch." Okay, I hear the kasha, but that's sort of like true. They didn't need to do anything good, but if they start doing things very, very bad, oh, that's a different story. That's a different story already. That we can't go weiter like that. So they got taken down. Okay, but now the next generations, 10 more generations until Avram Avinu. There was also more what we call chesed of vitor. That here it is. Here's the free lunch. Take it. And there was no guidance of these people. There was no interaction with the world civilization. Of course, again, with the exception of Avram Avinu and those many people that he was able to influence. But in fact, those people, they didn't really make it too far. Already in the time of his son Yitzchak, we don't know what happened to most of all of these many people that Avram Avinu brought Takas Kanfei Ashchina. We don't find it already in the days of Yitzchak. All we see now is the avos. We see the avos. So we got the avos. We have the beginnings of Klal Yisrael. But we still don't have Klal Yisrael, and we still don't have a Matan Torah, because a Matan Torah requires that there be a united body of Klal Yisrael. Once Klal Yisrael is united, so then there could be a Matan Torah, because that's what it says. The Zohar says, Yisrael kuchabrichu v'yoraisa chadhu. Oh, can everybody still see me?
Yep, I can.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, okay. So that's called Chesed Vitor, 26 generations. Okay. Now, after that comes Hashem, the Jewish people are starting to, right? There was a whole agreement, there was a whole covenant, a bris that was made with Avram Avinu. Now Avram Avinu was the first one to keep the entire Torah even before that it was commanded. So even without a command, Avram Avinu was already identifying Hashem and responding to Hashem's chesed and to his ava and to his rachamim with avoda. That's the response of Avram Avinu. The one that is a maimen b'Hashem, is avoda, is doing Ratzon Hashem. And even though it's not yet officially commanded, he's already holding in a different place than the rest of the world with their chesed vitor. They just keep doing what it is that they want to do, and they keep getting all the chesed and the rachamim and the ava and the life and the parnas and everything without doing anything at all. That's chesed vitor. Avram Avinu, we see already the roots of a new response of man to being in the world. And so Avram Avinu, Hashem makes a bris with him, and he says that okay, there's going to be a bris bein besarim, and you're going to come out from this kur habarzel, the iron furnace, with great wealth, and that great wealth is going to lead to a Matan Torah. So, what is Matan Torah? Matan Torah represents, says Rev Hutner, a new hanhaga in the world. There's not just individuals, but there's already, but it's not the whole world either, but there's already a nation. There's already a nation, and that's Klal Yisrael, that is responding to the fact that they're in Hashem's world, and they realize that they have been placed here in the world, and that there must be a purpose for why it is that they're in this world, and they're receiving they're receiving life, they're receiving all the good that comes from Hashem, and so their response is to serve Hashem, to do avodas Hashem. And so this was the whole Nasiv Nishma. Hashem went to all the nations. The Medrash tells us he went to all the nations. He gave them an opportunity, and they all said, "What would you like to receive the Torah?" And they said, "Oh, 1 second. Well, like what's this entail? What's in it for us? What it is that we got to do?" Oh, lo tzirtzach. Oh no, Esav said, "No, that's not going to be possible. We're not ready to do that. So forget it." And then another nation. Oh, it says lo sinach. What? We have to be careful about our relationships with between men and women. That's how can we possibly hold out with such a thing like that? No, we can't do it, etc., etc. And then they got to Klal Yisrael, and Klal Yisrael says, "Would you like to have the Torah?" Nasiv Nishma. No questions asked. So this now is because Klal Yisrael understood that this is the proper response. This is they want to of course they want to serve Hashem. They want to come close to Hashem. And this is exactly what the Torah is the handbook for doing that, for living in this world. And so now we have what's called Aseres Adibros. Aseres Adibros. So the idea over here of Dibor as opposed to Asara Maimoros is because now Dibor is, we said before, it's Lashon Kasha. It's like a tough talk. But really, says Rav Hutner, it's also chesed. We get much, much, much more from Hashem than anything that he ever that we could ever give back to him. So but there is a Torah, there is responsibility, there is things that we got to do. There's avoda, there's avoda to be done, and so that Rav Hutner categorizes as chesed b'mishpat, chesed mishpat. It's a chesed that's meted out to the whole world, really, to the whole world, really. But it's not vitor. It's not just a giveaway. It's not just a free lunch anymore. It comes with mishpat. There's a mishpat, and there's a mishpat, and so that's the idea of Aseres Hadibros, the deep, because we have a pasuk. If you remember, we got a pasuk. One of the there's I think like 6 psukim that we say on Rosh Hashanah before we do the mitzvah of Tekiah Shofar. And I don't have a machzer in front of me, but if you look over there in the machzer, there's a pasuk. One of the psukim, it says, Yad ber amim tachtenu, ulu'umim tachas ragleinu. I think that's what the language is. Yad ber amim tachtenu. Here we see this language of dibor. Yad ber amim tachtenu. Dibor is a type of a speech which is not just here's your free lunch, but it's a speech of I'm giving this to you on certain conditions, and I'm guiding you, I'm training you, I'm directing you with a certain command that you should do like this, and you do like that, and then you receive. You receive. There's a certain connection between what you do and what you get. In the end of the day, it's really mostly chesed, but there's an element of mishpat in it as well. So this is called chesed mishpat, and this was a whole new way of Hashem running the world based upon the fact that there's now a Matan Torah. Now, so here is a connection that we have between Aseret Maimaros and Aseres Adibros. We see that the Lashon Amira by Aseret Maimaros, that was the Hanhag of Hashem, Ki Le'er Lamchasto, just chesed, just free lunch. Now, after Matan Torah, there was an introduction of a new Hanhaga. The old Hanhaga of just chesed vitor, of just being mavater on to give people whatever it is that they want, and without any responsibility to shteltsu, to do anything for it, that was taken down. That was taken down. And now we got Aseres Adibros, Dibor. It's a type of a speech which commands. It's a type of speech which guides. It's a type of speech which directs and teaches. And so now there's a connection. What this really is creating a connection between the director, the commander, the guider, and the servant. And that is Aseres Hadibros. That's a whole new Hanhaga that Hashem put into the world, Aseres Hadibros. So now the only thing that we have to do over here is we've got to explain, so what is it? What do these two tens have to do? They're on one end, and that one is on the other end. Mm-hmm. Aseret Maimaros is the beginning of the world, and Aseres Adibros is the Hanhaga that Hashem introduced after the 26 generations. What does the Eser Makos, what does Eser Makos have to do with these two? Is there a connection? And according to Rav Hutner, absolutely. There is a very, very strong and deep connection, but which between the Eser Makos, which stands before the Aseret Maimaros and after the Aseres Adibros. And for that, I'll just tell we just have a few minutes left. Any questions so far, by the way?
No, very interesting though.
Okay, good. Just in a nutshell, without too much of an arichas, the Eser Makos, what did it do? That was the vehicle that Hashem used to take down the Hanhaga of Asara Maimaros, and now to prepare the way for Aseres Adibrus. How so? What happened by Eser Makos? Eser Makos was I don't want to say it was the first time, because I mean we did have a Mabul, we had a Dorafloga, we did have times when Hashem introduced a Hanhaga of Mishpat on the world, but Rav Hutner says that there was something special about the Eser Makos. The Eser Makos, like it says in the Psukim, that Hashem said before the Makos, we know the Makos were divided into three different categories by Rabbi Yehuda that we say in the Agoda. The first three, Hashem said, the Yedu Mitzrayim ki ani Hashem. Those were the Makos that Hashem sort of introduced himself to the world. You should know that Ani Hashem, that there is someone who is the balabas over here. This is not just one big zoo. This is a world that has a master. It has a Rabboni Shalom. And the first three Makos, they were the ones that introduced this idea to the world. For example, and then if you want to get even further into this matter, Lou and everybody else, there are those commentators that they draw a connection between that they find connections between the first Makkah and the first Dibor, they find connections between the first Makkah and the first Dibor. They find connections between the first Makkah and the first Amira. So you can go very, very far with these matters over here. But just in a general sense, we say, right, the first Dibur is Anochi Hashem Elokecha. That's what Hashem said to Klal Yisrael. Anochi Hashem Elokecha. Who I'm Hashem, and who is that exactly? Who is Hashem? Now we would have thought, the Kuzari says, we would have thought that Hashem would have said, Shebara Shemaim Ba'aretz. I'm the one that created Shemaim Ba'aretz. But the Kuzari says, it points out that Hashem didn't say that. He said, Asher hotzei sicha me'eretz Mitzrayim, mibeis avodim. I'm the one that took you out from Mitzrayim, from the house of bondage, of shibud, of avdus. That was the Anochi Hashem. And this was the first, there was a correspondence to the first Makkah, because the Makkah of Dam was the Makkah against the river that its Egyptians, in addition to the Shepsel, they worshipped the Shepsel, and that was Makkah's Bechoros, but they also worshipped the Nile. They worshipped the Nile. Paro himself, the Navi Yecheskel, says, I created myself and I created the Nile. And so their service of the Nile was like a service of Paro. That's what Paro thought that they should do. And so that was their deity. The Nile provides for them, gives them water, gives them life. That's the deity, the giver of life. And Hashem, what did he do with the Nile? He turned it to blood. Hashem is the one who's in control of the Nile. The Nile's not in control of anything. I'm in control of your deity, says Hashem. So this was the correspondence between the first Makkah and the first Aseres Adibrus. Okay, so we'll hold it over here.
Very good. Yeshkayach. Very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you. Okay, I won't be here tomorrow, but we're continuing next week also. Same schedule.
Next week.
It's getting ready for Pesach already.
I'll work my pace of cleaning around the times. I don't know. Are we or not? Let me know. Or email.
Okay. Phil
one way or the other.
He wants to learn. Very good, Phil.
Either.
So we'll try to see what we could do.
Yeah.
Leader.
Okay. Very good.
Won't be. Okay. Take care. Be well. Thanks.
We'll be in touch. We'll be in touch.
Good. Bye-bye.
Very good. Be well, Phil.
Okay.
Take care, Lou.
Okay, everybody have a wonderful day.
You too,
Bye,
Rabbi.
Lou. Bye, Phil. Bye, Mayor.